Welcome to Q4 of 2025. How crazy is that to say? And as we end out the year in the last few months, we're going to take a quick recap and look at what happened in the real estate market in King and Snohomish counties in Q3. And we're going to talk about, just generalizations of what's happening in Q3, comparing them to the quarter before. We're going to take a deep dive into the luxury market as well. And we are also going to give some insight into Q4 and 2026. So as we look at Snohomish and King counties, taking homes and condos, just all of them sold, we did see some not surprising numbers. New listings were down. Homes sold were down, and days on market were up. Now, we were coming off of Q2, and that's going to be compared to Q2, okay? And that's coming off of a late spring, early summer market, and then we have kind of a slower market here in the Seattle area in August, and then we see a little bit of uptick, and then we're back down again to finish out the year, which we're kind of at right now. Now, as for median and average sales prices throughout Q3, it stayed relatively consistent, no crazy ups or downs, so nothing there. But what is interesting is that, I look at the percent to sales price received. So if buyers are paying 100%, if the average is 100%, they're paying market value. If it's over, they're paying over. And if it's under, then buyers are getting negotiations and they're paying for a little bit less than sales price. Interesting enough, in Q3, that number was 99% compared to Q2, which was about 101%, which is showing that, okay, buyers had some negotiating power in Q3. Now, this is really hyper-local to each area. There are a lot of great homes that are well-priced and good look and condition, and those are still going over. I was still seeing, homes go 15, 20, 25% over list. It really just depends, but as an average, we were seeing buyers get some deals out there, including our own buyers, which was awesome. Now, if we look at the ultra-luxury market, and it's interesting because we have to remember that the ultra-luxury market doesn't always depend on interest rates. We look at the stock market and see how that's going. When the stock market was seeing an increase, I did notice at the very beginning of Q3, we were seeing ultra-luxury, which I call about over 5 million. I saw more and more of those homes go pending, okay? Now, in the last 30 days, we saw about a 37% increase in homes sold, over 5 million compared to the month before. But what's interesting enough is that those homes are still staying on, the days on market is quite large. So even if I took pending sales, so everything pending right now, which is kind of that, all right, this is where buyers are finding value right now, those pending properties, all above 3 million, if I just go luxury versus ultra luxury, above that 3 million-ish range, we're seeing the average days on market for those be 102 days. So I would say in my own experience as well, the luxury homes, we are seeing a lot of area for negotiations. It just depends on the home and of course the location, but it is something to discuss if that was something of interest to you to look into homes like that. I'm seeing huge decreases and huge price adjustments of over 5%. All right, so there is definitely some opportunity. As we look into the following months and next year, the Fed has a meeting today. We are at, Wednesday right now. Fed has a meeting today. They're assuming that the Fed will cut interest rates, which even on their last cut, we saw mortgage rates actually start moving lower before that. So we tend to see that kind of ahead of schedule. If rates keep, trickling down, of course, right now we are in a point where the new listings are going to start to decrease as well. And what I'm telling my clients is that if you are not closing on a home in the next 30 days, you're kind of left with properties that are in front of power lines or, and not in great condition. So whatever gets snapped up, which might be soon due to these interest rates, we're going to see hopefully an uptick in new listings mid-January to mid-February. We tend to see in our Seattle market, that's kind of our early spring market, which is crazy. So if you've thought about selling your home, I would suggest let's kind of wait until that Q1 of 2026. Let's get your home prepped and ready now, especially in these winter months. We want to make sure the gutters are clean. We want to make sure that the systems are all working properly. And that way through the winter, you have a successful sale when the time comes to list. So if you have questions about the 2026 market or even the Q4, let's chat. I'm always here for your real estate needs.